Well, it's tinker time again. You're gonna see me looking over there sometimes because the camera's over here sometimes. I gotta check to see if it's in the right frame. And today we're working on something a little different, and I'm trying to hide it from you right now. But apparently I finally did something that I said I was going to do 3 years ago, and I bought that. So let me give you a little walk around real quick. This is my new Ram. It's a 2016 half-ton eco diesel, 3-liter variable vane turbo V6 diesel. I live the diesel life now, and it's something that I used to do when I was much younger, but now I'm finally doing it again as my daily because I want this thing to be the first and last truck I buy for at least the next 30 years because it's supposed to be a tool. And yeah, we'll be working on this quite a bit because there's a bunch of little things I want to do. So let me go ahead and show you the other thing I did, which is I kept the T-Bird too. So when I bought this truck, it was literally I made it as difficult as possible for the guy I bought it from. I basically said, look, I'm not gonna give you any money down. I don't have a trade-in, and I just wanna buy this truck. And the guy ran my credit and he goes, cool, when can you come pick it up? So that's what I did. And now I'm on the lam for 6 years, but I've got a wicked warranty that covers everything until 2028. Yeah, and 156,000 miles, so we're good, right? Anything goes wrong, it's a $100 deductible, and that gets worked on. So I'm looking for a Dodge Ram service writer who's willing to warranty out my engine one of these days, because if you know, these engines are notorious for the EGR system killing them prematurely, and it's running good now, so I'm gonna run it for a while and keep the oil changes up and check the EGR system to make sure it's not as coked as it is known to be. But this engine has 3,600 hours runtime on it, so it's still a virgin as far as I'm aware. Anyway, what are we doing today? Well, I'm going to do what I did to the T-Bird. Basically, I'm gonna change out the tail light bulbs, the reverse light bulbs, the license plate light bulbs, and that third brake light. We'll start at the back, and then hopefully Amazon delivers today and I'll be able to do all the LEDs for the front too. So sit tight and let me get started. Sorry, I keep looking over here because the camera's over here, so it's kind of weird for me too.
A few moments later.
All right, so just as I finished recording that segment, the headlights showed up too. So I will be doing the front all in one take. Awesome. Here's what we're installing today. I've got these. They are LED license plate lights. They're smoked lenses. That's why they're so dark, but they have I think it's a 9 LED array in there. I was going to replace the original bulbs, but they're 194 peanut bulbs, and the LEDs in those are garbage. They're barely any brighter than stock, so I went with the entire replacement lens, which gives me new plastics, which is great. I've got the Sylvania Zevo taillights. These are 3057s, they'll go in here. I've used these in the T-Bird, so I know they work really well, and they don't trip error codes, so I don't need a ballast resistor for these. And, let's see, oh yeah, these are for the reverse lights. So I'll be putting these in at the same time as those. Trust me, if you want to do any of this, I'll leave you all the links for everything I used today in this video. And then the third brake light, which is also a smoked lens, LED arrays here for the cargo lights, and the third brake light has like chevrons built into it, which I thought was kind of cool. This is also smoked, and a lot of these aftermarket tail light lenses, or third brake light lenses, leak. So there's a lot of complaints on them. So what I did yesterday, in admittedly a slightly drunken stupor, was I went ahead and RTV'd the entire perimeter to water seal it. And trust me, all this will peel right off, but this seam all the way around is what people are complaining about. So I just took black RTV and I ran a bead all the way around it, smashed it flat, and essentially waterproofed it. And all this will be hidden, you know, inside the body, so you won't even see it. So you can nip it in the bud before you even install it. And the best part is plug and play installation. So that uses a factory style harness connector. And it has the ballast resistor built in as well, so it doesn't flicker, which is great. So anyway, to get started, I think I'm going to do the most shitty of the jobs first. which I'm gonna need these, and we're gonna go lay underneath and I'll show you what the deal is. So hang on a second. Let me see if I can walk over here right quick. Gotta get my hobo mattress, also known as a piece of cardboard. Just lay this down over here. And well, let me just see if I can take you underneath. Hang on a second. Alright. So essentially what you want to do. Oh dear. Wow. This is going to require a little research on my part because these don't have retaining clips like I was told there would be. Stand by. Let me look up how to take these off. I'll be right back with you.
12 seconds later.
Okay, so 12 seconds later, the clips are on the inside now. On the trucks that are before mine, like 2012s or whatnot, they're out here. But this one is here. So basically what I want to do is I want to grab this clip, wiggle it towards the back, and then once that clip comes out, this should just literally push right through the bumper. So let me go ahead and do that. I'm sure you really don't need the visual, do you? I mean, I'm literally just going to slide this out that way, and then push this lens out that way from outside on the bumper, and then we'll install the new one and I'll show you the wiring, which there's nothing to it. Sit tight. Alright, so before I put it all together, I'm going to show you the clip. So this is it here. It was in like this orientation here, and as you can see, the new lens is in there, and yes, it is made out of the world's finest Chinesium. Anyway, next will just be pull that peanut bulb and hook it up to that connector, and that should be it. Let me go ahead and pop that in, and you'll see what it looks like. Okay, there it is, installed, nice and happy. I was overcomplicating this, but it's now in. And then I disconnected the peanut bulb, which broke, and then put the connector in that socket, and what I'll probably do is I'll just zip tie this up and out of the way to keep the elements from getting to it and beating it up. This is a public service announcement to always use dielectric grease on your sockets, because 194 peanut bulbs that are stuck are a real bear to get out once you break them. But I already ran this with the lights on and it seems to be working fine. So I'm going to repeat that on the other side that way, and I'll join you up top for the taillights. Sit tight, because there's going to be some violence.
More moments later.
Well, I'm glad I laid on the ground first, because thanks to all things Amazon, they sent me 2 lefts, no left and no right. So these are going back, because apparently somebody can't do their job. Did I mention I process returns for a company that works with Amazon? I never make this mistake. What's the excuse that these guys have? So, before that becomes a complete disaster, let's go ahead and move on to the taillights. And essentially, you take these T25 bolts out, and the lens wiggles out that way, and then you just swap the bulbs. So I'll be putting in one of these and one of these for my reverse lights, and hopefully there is no left and right for these, obviously, because they're reverse lights. Sit tight, I'll get these in, or I'll show you me taking that apart. Maybe in a still shot, that's probably better. Okay, lens out, 2 T25s are out, and then these little rubber nubbins you just pull straight towards the back. Just kind of wiggle it, be patient, just wiggle it. This will pop out, and you just change your 2 lenses. Nice and easy, or your 2 bulbs rather. This one's actually easy.
2 very boring minutes later.
So that's the bulb I pulled out. These are not the right ones. Shocker. Way to go, Amazon. Real great compatibility list. Guess that's going back now too. This is becoming a real ordeal. So I'm done with the back then until I get to the 3rd brake light. At least I know that's the right size. Stand by. Okay, here's hoping this goes any better. So 2 screws, pops out, unplug, put the new one in. Came with a gasket. We'll put that in next. What else could go wrong today?
1 minute 37 seconds later.
Alright, so now comes my least favorite part. So far, let's do a recap. Taillights work, reverse lights wrong, license plates light wrong, cargo light good. Now we're on headlights. I got this set here, which I finally know is the correct one. These are high beams, low beams, and the fog lights. And it's gonna require me to take the grill off, which is gonna require me to take this cover off, which is a bunch of little plastic push pins. Just stick your hand in there, wiggle, work it gently, don't break anything. Take off the bolts along the top, grill pulls straight out that way. Also, somebody told me that there was a clip back here, but there isn't, not for me. There's a trap door here, and there's a 10 mil bolt back there, which I now have sitting here. So, let me get the rest of this apart. I'll probably do this in a couple of still shot montages. That way, you can see it done. Ow, that hurt a lot. Turns out I do have that plastic clip thing. I'm gonna show it to you from this side. So I pull it out here, right? And it's this tab right here. And you can reach it from back here through that door. You just push straight up on it and it's gonna fight you, let me tell you what. So you're gonna bust a fingernail like I did, but that's the last piece, and then this comes right out. I think that bolt I took out from the back actually had to come out. Now that I think about it, I think it just holds the front bumper on. So I'll omit that part of the install. Anyway, let me get the bulbs in. They are here. So this is my turn signal, and I believe this is the high beam and this is the low beam. So what to do is, yeah. Okay, so what I gotta do with one hand is turn this cup and probably bust another fingernail. There we go. And it's just a matter of pulling that guy out and putting that guy in. I think that's the low beam there and that's the high beam there. You'll know when you see the plug. There it is installed. It's the H11 bulb. It's got a little heatsink and fan built into it. And the cover should fit right over the top. And you just plug the connector in and just make sure the wiring doesn't touch. We'll do the same thing to the high beam and do the same thing to the turn signal right here, which I have right here. Here.
Later.
Lights. High beam, low beam, turn signal. Next will be the fog down there. That should be fun.
1 hour later.
There you go, proof in the pudding. The flickering you see is actually because LEDs pulse, but if you're standing in front of it, it doesn't actually do that. The camera's just catching it like that. Anyway, low beams, turn signals, fog lights. They don't actually twitch. Just my camera's doing that. And the high beams too. The one thing to note, if you wire the turn signals backwards, they don't turn on. So if you plug them in, you're not getting any lights. Pull the bulb, flip it, and put it back in. See if that works. Same thing with the fog lights. Same thing with the headlights. I took apart that headlight 3 times until I got it right. Anyway, I'm gonna clean up the grill before I put it back together. And as usual, installation is a reverse of removal. This job, honestly, for the headlights and stuff, it's only like 2 Samuel L's. So it's not a big deal. Back ones, 1 Samuel L. So let me get the grill back on and I'll give you my final thoughts.
1 eternity later.
So anyway, we're all back together now, as you can see. And yeah, why do I rate this job? Well, headlights, fog lights, 2 Samuel L's. Because you gotta take a lot off to get in there. Like the grill, for instance. for whatever reason. Yeah, 2 Samuel L's there. Let's walk towards the back, and I'm gonna have to put in resistors for the taillights. They work, but even though they flash okay, they still give me an error code. Go figure. Those were easy. That cargo light, I thought it didn't fit. I thought the housing was a little too big, but it fit. It's just, I had to wiggle it in place and then eventually it fit. There are honeybees standing around me. Anyway, that, 2 Samuel L's out of 5, that is. Anyway, that's all I've got for you today. This is my 2016 Ram Lone Star Edition. You'll see plenty of that in the channel throughout, well, my updates, because it's gonna get some lights, some rails, some bumpers, steps, maybe a transfer tank. That's about it, really. I'm not gonna go crazy with this one. Anyway, if you're new to my channel, welcome. If you're a regular here, welcome back. By the way, check out my other playlist, see if my other interests are of interest to you. It's 94 degrees in the middle of October. Nice tea time. We'll see you later.
Mother